Hey guys, what's going on? Jacob here. So now that we've gone through PHP, it's time to start learning JavaScript. The good news is that with programming languages, you'll learn that they're basically all the same. The process to complete a task is pretty similar across all languages, but there are differences, mainly in syntax and the way things are carried out. After all, just because you know PHP and will know JavaScript soon, doesn't mean you can create Java apps or iPhone apps. You'll have to learn the syntax and the way of doing things in those languages first. So, as we get started with JavaScript, let's learn the differences between JavaScript and PHP. JavaScript is a programming language that is run on the browser and is used to affect the web page. With JavaScript, you can create pop-ups, change elements and their styles, and more. And with today's modern JavaScript, you can create amazing web applications. JavaScript is an extremely powerful tool, and it's increasingly becoming the most important programming language to learn in web development. Like CSS, you can use JavaScript on the web page by using the script tag, or you can create a JavaScript file and link to it in the web page by using the src attribute in the script tag. The script tag can be either in the head or body section of the web page. As far as the basic syntax go, it's pretty similar to PHP. You can place semicolons at the end of every line. However, they're not required like they are in PHP. And finally, while I skipped over this in PHP, you can also have comments in your code in JavaScript and PHP. Both languages use backslashes for single line comments and these for multi-line comments. This helps you work through a program and lets you or someone else know what's going on in the code. Like PHP, JavaScript supports variables and constants. Assigning variables is basically the same as it is in PHP, except that you need var in front of the variable name and you don't need the $sign. Constants are much easier to declare in JavaScript. It's essentially the same as variables, except that the var is changed to const to denote a constant. Data types in JavaScript are also basically the same as they are in PHP. You don't need to explicitly declare what data type a variable is, although you do need to keep track of what it is so that you use the right operators and functions and other things. Objects in JavaScript, however, are much more different. Instead of defining a class first, you can create objects on the fly like this. And like in PHP, objects can have methods and properties. After the object has been created, you can use it basically the same as you would a PHP object, except that the arrow is replaced by a period between the object name and the method or property. Operators in JavaScript are basically identical to those in PHP, but there are a few key differences. The first is that to add or concatenate two strings, use the plus sign and not the period. You just have to make sure that you're adding two strings and not a string and a number. And for logical operators, you can't use the words and, or, and not. Instead, you use two ampersands for and, two vertical bars for or, and the exclamation point for not. Finally, let's go over dates in JavaScript. In order to get a date, use the date function. This has an optional parameter of a date string, milliseconds, or time in year, month, day, hour, minute, second, millisecond. The date string, however, is much easier in JavaScript. It just needs to be in plain English and in the month, day, year, hour, minute, second format. But unlike in PHP, this creates a date object. So then we'll have many different methods and properties to get and format that date. We'll talk more about how to use this date object and what you really can do with it next time. But that's all for today. Next time we'll go over JavaScript libraries, errors, and debugging. In the meantime, do you have any questions over what we went over today? If so, be sure to leave them down in the comments below and I'll do my best to answer them. But until next time, good luck and happy coding.